Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Burnrate Baristas. I'm Sahand,
And I'm Cate.
and today we are talking about Reddit.
Reddit.
Yep.
Reddit.
So this is going to be our last recording of 2025.
Oh God, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're right.
We've been doing this for a little while now.
Mhm.
So I think, I don't know, we're probably somewhere around like 15, 20 episodes in.
Yeah, because we started in April. It was
Yeah.
right after Liberation Day.
Right. We're feeling so liberated over here.
Yeah, it's great. It feels so free.
When we started this, the whole idea that we had was that we wanted to basically give people a behind the scenes look of what it's like to build a business, get to know the team a little bit more, invite other friends of the brand in to share their stories. But at the end of the day, the North Star was just authenticity. We wanted to make sure that we always gave you a sense of what it really looks like to build a company. And that means sharing the good and sharing the bad. And today we're going to be talking about what it's been like building a brand alongside the growth of the platform Reddit, which has been a recurring segment and topic internally.
Yeah.
So before we get into what our experience has been like, why we're talking about it, Cate, maybe you can give us a little bit of an overview of why is Reddit as a platform important for us and in general for all brands?
Yeah, Reddit's a tough one. In case you're not familiar, I feel like the whole world is. It's an anonymous message board. There's subgroups for any topic you can imagine. You can jump in, comment, post, upvote, downvote.
Right.
But the key part there is it's all anonymous for the most part. Sometimes people out themselves unhappily.
Yeah.
Reddit is, and we'll get more into it, but it is not the happiest platform, we'll say. I think a lot of people go there to share negative experiences, complain, and there's a lot of good that happens there too, but in terms of brand, it's very tricky. Now, really easy thing to say would be like, okay, cool, it's just a website, ignore it. And we'd love to, honestly, as I'm sure most young brands would. But the truth is that it ranks extraordinarily high on SEO and increasingly higher in what LLMs scrape to just generate, their massive knowledge bases. Mm-hmm. So it turns into something we really can't ignore, as much as we would potentially like to. It's going to show up in so many different places, not just on Reddit itself, but in search rankings, in information people get if they ask ChatGPT, what's the best espresso machine for me? So it's got a footprint that far exceeds just the boundaries of Reddit.com.
Yep. It is increasingly important if you're a new brand, especially if you're an online brand primarily. If you're finding the company online, presumably you're going through traditional platforms and mediums to do so, right? Yeah. So if it ranks very high organically, it is actually very important what is being said. What's challenging about that is that the anonymity of the users means you don't really know if it's truly an impartial person or frankly, if it's a random person. And it's not even to assume that like necessarily everybody is biased or partial, but I mean, we all carry biases of some sort with us, but it is increasingly important. It's actually really similar to what I think, Anthony Bourdain always hated Yelp. And he would tell these stories about these restaurants that would just get like one bad review or have somebody threaten them with a bad review to get free things.
Yep.
And how much he like despised that platform because of what it did to small establishments, small restaurants and the impact it would have. Mm-hmm. It's not really that different for us.
Yeah.
And in the early days, it's kind of funny because we saw it as an opportunity. Like I knew that there was a unique opportunity for us as a brand to engage with people, to especially like very early on, we're just building a product, we're just developing so much live that we wanted to use it as an opportunity to engage with people authentically, to learn what they like, learn what they didn't like, and obviously improve upon things that they wanted to see in the category. The whole point of what we were trying to do was bring innovation to a category that we saw lacked it.
Right.
And it is interesting because in the early days, we tried to engage authentically. Mm-hmm. And so I would do this a lot. Like I would just say like, hey, like somebody would say, has anybody seen this Terra Cafe brand? What's this all about? They're like, I think I'm pretty qualified to answer that question. And then I would get flagged for, it being treated as advertising, which was really challenging at the beginning. But, understandable that they could frame it that way. But what we realized was, even though we were limited in how we could engage, we did things like AMAs here and there. What was interesting was we were backed into this corner where we started seeing incorrect information getting displayed on the platform
Right.
and getting perpetuated. So there was just some people that had this like, you know, I don't know, vendetta against us. There's like one person in particular who had a very intense like hatred towards us.
Yeah.
Is there an affiliation? I don't know. But like at the end of the day, he didn't like us.
Right.
And this was for months before this person admitted to getting a TK machine. So they'd never had one. They just really didn't like us.
Yeah.
And then got one, and then surprise, surprise, they're like, yeah, this validates everything I said before. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Then like it's fine to not like it. But then we were seeing totally false information just getting purported about us.
Right.
Like just crazy things. And then we would try to engage with ourselves. We were like, hey, like this is inaccurate, and it would get banned or get blocked.
Right. Right.
And it put us in a really weird jam as a company.
Yeah.
And like we were trying to solve for, you know, how do we actually disseminate factual information while being, you know, clear about who we are. And frankly, what was even worse than all of that was that this very loud minority of people were so aggressive that anytime we had people that were saying positive things about us, and they would be like, they work for the company, like, they really don't. We don't know who these people are.
Right.
But it becomes such a hive mind where it's very hard for people to feel comfortable saying anything positive about us because they just get attacked.
Yeah, I mean, we've heard that. You know, we've spoken on here before about our TK insiders and our beta group, and we've even had the conversation very openly with them. Like, have you seen brands engage successfully on Reddit? Like, what would success look like to you? If you participate on this platform, what does that look like? And we had multiple people tell us like, hey, we've tried, and then they would actually list out the usernames of the people who had attacked them. And it's like, I was kind of intimidated. I didn't want to engage because I found as soon as I did that, somebody would pile on, you know, tear my opinion to shreds, downvote me, and it's wild. And, you know, to your point about promo, I remember a couple of years ago, we actually have a Terra Cafe CX Reddit account.
Yeah.
Because we saw a couple of posts of people just genuinely asking for troubleshooting help. You know, my brew unit's not sliding back in. And I'm like, oh, we can fix that in 1 minute, and here's a video to do it.
Yeah.
So we'd post just, here's some help. Here's the answer to the question you asked. And it was taken down because it was considered promotion.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Reddit, you know, to your point earlier, like it's so important for so many brands, but I would argue for us, it is potentially even more important because of what the deliberation period looks like for products like ours. Highly considered product. Over a lot of time, very few people are going to just 2 a.m. purchase a $2,000 espresso machine. They're probably going to, you know, look for reviews, look for firsthand testimonials. And when a lot of what they're seeing is this vitriol spewed by a few very vocal people, it's a problem.
Yeah. It's funny because like, well, I guess it's not that funny because we're talking about this pre having this solved. We don't have this solved right now. And like, I want to be very clear. It is not that all negativity about us on that platform is profoundly unwarranted. There were things we had to improve in the early days with the product, as we do with anything. I would argue we're the most responsive of any brand out there in our category just by virtue of like the communities we built, the platforms we had for people to vote what they want to see built out next for their existing machines. But there were challenges that we faced. We had a disaster happen in in Georgia with our one repair center that did leave a lot of people without a machine. And admittedly, they were very mad. They did not go and relay all the information. They were just like, you know, don't buy from Terra Cafe. Right. And to those people, I will say, we are sorry. I'm sorry we weren't in a position where we could just give out free machines. We were also relaying information we were getting that was inaccurate information of when we would expect to be back up and running. Since then, we have bolstered our infrastructure to be able to have multiple sites, multiple redundancy preparation and mitigation planning so that if something like that happens in the future, we have multiple service centers that all have history in the category, but that is what building a startup looks like. It is building up that infrastructure. And, you know, I just want to give airtime to there are some legitimate stuff that we have solved. And unfortunately, content on that platform is evergreen, so we can't do anything about it. A lot of those are even locked posts, so we can't even go and post on them, let alone, again, we try and post those ourselves. And we get basically either pushed off the platform or just attacked if we're not. But there are other things that just don't, they're like just patently false about whether it's the specs of the machine, how it's made, who made it. And it's so funny to watch at their arguments kind of get chipped away at. They're like, you didn't build the TKO2 at all, and you didn't even like work with ammunition. It's like,
Oh,
we're on the
that
front
was
page of their
great.
website.
Right.
They're like, maybe you just did, maybe they just did the packaging. We're like, there's a whole case study on everything we did with them.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, okay, well, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, it's all a hunk of junk anyway. And you're like, okay, these arguments all kind of fall apart as you just get more and more
Right.
information. But that requires the patience for someone to actually read all of
Right.
that as opposed to the
Right.
headline.
Right.
And that's what I mean. Like, we don't really have it solved right now. We're still
Right.
trying to figure it out. Like, how do
Right.
you make that a safe space for people to say positive things?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think one thing that any young brand, any brand in general, right, is going to try to mobilize happy customers. Like, I think
Of course.
it's
Yeah.
just foundational knowledge is that unhappy people tend to be more vocal than happy people. Happy people are using our machine, enjoying their coffee, going about our day, going
Yeah.
about their day. And it's very common for brands to say, hey, you're happy, like, go leave us a review on our website, go leave
Yeah.
us a review on Facebook, whatever. Reddit is not, it's not really possible in our experience. Maybe we're wrong, we just haven't cracked the code yet. If you know,
Yeah,
reach out to us.
I was just
But
gonna say, like, if anybody has any advice for
yeah,
us,
seriously,
like,
yeah, because we've spoken to a lot of brands
Yeah.
in various industries, and it seems nobody's really solved this. But with Reddit, you can't say like, hey, go leave a review and then we'll, I don't know, give you some coffee, because it would involve somebody breaking their anonymity on that platform. There's no proof that they'd ever gone and done
you can't
it.
even, you can't push that.
Right.
And it's just like, I want to give like one little quick story.
Yeah.
So we did an AMA. We're like, we have nothing to hide. You're hearing from
Yeah.
us all the time. We do
Right.
IG lives. We do these YouTube series.
Right.
We did an AMA. We had an AMA. There was still, again, somebody being like, you didn't build the machine. And it got us far, and we're like, yes, we're happy to answer questions. And it got as far as send me your source firmware code. And we're like,
To prove we made the
to a
machine.
random person we don't know, again, could be affiliated with someone else, could be not. Like, it's always interesting when someone says like, I have a great experience with my Terra Cafe, and they just get downvoted into oblivion.
yeah.
I'm like, why is that happening? Now there's something weird going on
Right.
there, because why does that make you so mad that somebody's having a positive experience?
Right.
Like, that shouldn't, unless there's something weird going on there. Again, they don't have to work for a competitor. They could just be affiliated or biased in some way, but it's just a weird engagement that someone can't say something positive. And they're like, send me the source form code. And I'm like, no. And I remember our CTO asked me, like, should we do something? Like, no, that is profoundly
Right.
not an
So
option.
inappropriate.
Yeah. And that's just like, it gets to that point where someone's like, your machine, it costs nothing to make, and you know it. That's what he wrote to me in a DM, the most aggressive person. I was like, I don't even know if it's worth responding to
Right.
this, because this
Right.
person is saying things that are inaccurate as facts,
Right.
as declarative sentences, and
Right.
you know it.
Right.
I'm like, you've already made up your mind before you had a machine.
Right. Well, I also remember the most
What?
aggressive person. You DM'd them and offered to get on the phone with them.
Yeah,
You said,
yeah.
I'd be like, hey,
I will answer any. They're like,
we've seen what you post. It seems there are some things that you have a misunderstanding about.
Yeah.
Like, I'm willing to get on the phone, spend an hour with you, and talk through whatever you'd like to talk through.
yeah,
And he said no.
yeah. He wasn't willing to do, which of course, okay, fine. It breaks your anonymity, and you're like, just answer my question. But you're not asking questions. You're just
Right.
basically shouting at me, and I'm like,
Right.
that's not even accurate. Like, it costs nothing to make, and it
I
would
wish
get
it cost nothing to make. It would
Yeah,
make
it
our
would be
lives
great.
so much easier.
and like, it's like that would not have ended there. Like, I've
Right.
seen this before. It would have been like, send me your bill of materials, which is, by the way, again, highly proprietary information. If I sent him our bill of materials, it would have been like, well, you're overpaying for stuff, and that's stupid. And you're like,
If you
Oh.
give a mouse a cookie.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, there was no end to that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, my favorite one more story. My favorite one is like, again, just it's all in the spirit of like discrediting us for no reason. There are all these comments of like, they work out of a WeWork. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, first of all, I don't know why that's discrediting to a startup. Second of all, we've never worked out of a
I know.
WeWork or a WeWork-like building. The closest thing to that is in my apartment when I started the company 7.5 years ago. We've always worked in an office. We're in an office right now. Come meet us. We have literally an open door
Right,
policy.
right.
36 West 25th Street, sixth floor.
We'll make you a coffee.
We're here. Like, you want to ask us a questions about what the journey is like to build a product? Please come and ask us.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Is the product perfect? No. Was our service perfect through the entirety of building this company? No. the product is exceptional for the value of what we're delivering. We saw Jura, we wanted to make it more accessible.
Right.
We wanted to give that quality, if not better, and that's what we spec to in all of our manufacturing assembly and the product development process. If you want to like take shots at the early days, sure, there's a lot that we had to work through. The product is exceptional for what it is. And we're giving multiple options now with the Demi and other products so that people have, we can better kind of focus on the people that maybe don't want milk drinks or having a separate product, like what have you. And the service level has profoundly changed. But again, we're not trying to hide anything. There's no gotcha journalism here. And at the end of the day, I'll say this. When I say there's a loud minority, there is maybe, I would say, I can count on probably one hand, if not less, how many negative comments will come on Reddit in a given month. I think it's probably like anywhere like 1 to 3 a month you'll see show up there. Okay? And it's always the same people that regurgitate the same talking points of why they hate us. They work out of a WeWork, they didn't make the machine, it's a hunk of junk, whatever.
Their usernames are in the show notes. Just kidding.
Yeah,
just kidding.
yeah.
But
we have shipped over 60,000 machines. We would not be in business today if the product was bad.
Right.
We would not be in business today if we were just a scam company. We would not be here.
Right.
It would not be possible. We have not raised oodles and oodles of money to just burn through cash and have everything come back to us. Right. That's not the reality. So we're going to try and find a way to get the people that are enjoying their machine to be more vocal, because that's the reality.
Right.
And we have not yet figured that out,
right.
because it is, nobody wants to enter into something that should be fun and becomes a, I don't know, like gladiator style arena that they're all of a sudden like, why am I in a knife fight with a tiger right now?
Yeah.
Like, what just happened? I'm just trying to tell you I'm having a good experience. That's just what that actually looks like from our side. Is the vast majority of people are happy. Cate does a check-in with customers and our installed base every single week, if not daily at this point. And the resounding sentiment is positive.
Right.
It is not reflected accurately on that platform, and we're still trying to figure it out. So actually, quite sincerely, if people have ideas on how to engage, we are happy to do AMAs. We are not going to just open on everything that is proprietary, because that is not appropriate as a business, especially when you don't know who the other side is. But we are here to answer questions about the product, about its features, about what's on the horizon, about what's changed over time within reason, to frankly clue people in to what that has looked like and where we're at today.
Right. So if we sound frustrated, we are. We are. And sincerely, it is an ask for your help. Drop us a comment. Shoot us an email, Cate at Terra Cafe.
We'll read it.
Sahand
We read
at Terra
everything.
Cafe. We do. We read everything. We are obsessive. It may or may not have crossed the line into being a problem, but seriously, let us know. And if you're having a good experience, go help us out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I think that concludes our last Burnrate Baristas episode of 2025.
Cheers.
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 Cheers, everyone. Thanks for watching.